I welcome to all on the course of refrigeration and air conditioning. In the last series of video, I explained about how to use the psychometric chart or how to read the psychometric chart. In this video, I am going to explain the psychometric process and the process like sensible heating, sensible cooling, humidification, dehumidification, heating and humidification, cooling and dehumidification, cooling and humidification, heating and dehumidification. Let's start the sensible heating. Before going to the process, here I am giving a overall general knowledge about the psychometric process. Here you are observing, already I explained how to read the psychometric chart. Here in the horizontal axis driver temperature and the vertical axis specific humidity W. And when you are talking about the sensible heating, so if you are going horizontally and increasing, means towards right, in the chart if you are going towards right, then you are increasing the temperature only, the specific humidity will be constant. Then if you are going to left to right, if you are going from right to left, means driver temperature decreasing, that is the sensible cooling at constant humidity W. And here is the specific humidity. If you are increasing the specific humidity, then it will go straight upward. And if you are coming heating and humidification, heating means you are increasing the temperature as well as the humidification. So increasing the temperature like this and humidification like this. So finally we will get the resultant axis, that is the heating, this is the slight inclined increasing, slightly inclined straight line, and this is the heating and humidification, means you are increasing the temperature, diurnal temperature is also increasing, as well as you are increasing the moisture level, humidification. If you are going to opposite direction, slightly downward direction, this is the upward direction. Same thing, if you are going opposite to the downward direction, that will be you are decreasing the temperature, and dehumidification, you are decreasing the moisture level also. So this is the cooling and dehumidification. Like that, we can go to the heating and dehumidification. So in this line, if you go increasing the temperature as well as decreasing the moisture level. So opposite, if you are going, so we can decreasing the driver temperature and increasing the humidification. And when you are talking about the humidification, the vertical upward and vertical downward dehumidification. So this is the basic knowledge to know the psychometric process. Let's start the individual process, and the first process is the sensible heating. So first to know what is sensible heating. The heating of air without change its specific humidity. Here already I told, in the horizontal axis dBT, driver temperature, and the vertical axis is specific humidity. So you have to increase the temperature where the specific humidity is constant. And this is the equipment attachment. This is the cold air. Here the temperature is TD1, and here is the outlet warm air. Here the temperature TD2, and here the heating coil. The heating coil nothing else. The steam or the hot water pass through the heating coil, or the heating coil may be electrical resistance coil type. And here the heating coil, at the heating coil the surface temperature is the TD3. So remember it, This is the TD1. This is the here the temperature TD3, and here the outlet temperature TD2. And in the process also, here is the TD1, TD2, and the surface temperature of the coil. This is the TD3. Let's know the process. Let the air of temperature TD1 passes over a heating coil TD3. It may be noted that the temperature leaving the heating coil, that is the TD2, will be less than the TD3. The process of sensible heating on the psychometric chart as shown on the horizontal axis 1 to 2, extending from left to right. You are increasing the temperature, so left to right. And the point 3 represents the surface temperature of the heating coil. Here, the heat absorbed by the air during the sensible heating is obtained from the psychometric chart by the enthalpy difference, that is the H2 minus H1. So it may be noted that the specific humidity during the sensible heating remain constant, that is the W1 is equal to W2. The dry wall temperature increases to TD1 to TD2, where the relative humidity reduces from phi1 to phi2. And how much amount of heat added during the sensible heating? Then you can get, that is the Q is equal to Ma H2 minus H1. Then the H, we can, instead of enthalpy, we can write Cp del T. So we can write, if mass is constant, then we can take it common, and instead of H2 we can write Cp Td2 minus Cp Td1. And if you write the pure mathematical form, final mathematical form, we can write Cp Td2 minus Td1. So this is all about the sensible heating. Let's come to the sensible cooling. So the sensible cooling, first to know what is sensible cooling. The sensible cooling is the cooling of air without change in its specific humidity. Here, without change the specific humidity, you are cooling the air. Same thing here, the temperature TD1, here the temperature TD2, and here the temperature the TD3. And another thing, instead in the sensible cooling, instead of heating, here you are cooling. So in the sensible cooling, the cooling coil may have the refrigerant or the cooling water or the cool gas flowing through this coil. Or the sensible cooling can be done only up to the dew point temperature. Mind it, the sensible cooling only done up to the dew point temperature. Let's know the process. Let the air at the temperature TD1, that is the warm air TD1, pass over the cooling coil temperature TD3. It noted that the temperature air leaving the cooling coil, that is the TD2, will more than the TD3. The process of sensible cooling on the psychometric chart is the horizontal line 1 to 2 extending from right to left, and the point 3, here is the point 3 represent the surface temperature. Point 3 represent the surface temperature of the cooling coil. So here how much heat is rejected during the sensible cooling, that is the nothing else, the enthalpy difference, that is H1 minus H2. Here the specific humidity is remain constant, that is the W1 is equal to W2, and the dry wall temperature reduces from TD1 to TD2. Here the relative humidity increases from phi1 to phi2, and the amount of heat rejected during the sensible cooling we can obtain from this relation, that is the QR, the amount of heat rejected, that is mass into H1 minus H2. Instead of and final equation also we can write, that is instead of H we can write Cp del T, so we can write Cp into Td1 minus Td2. So this is all about the sensible heating and the sensible cooling. Next class I will start the other psychometric process. Thank you to all, listen patiently.